we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion.
Combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
We got DCPC family in the house tonight. We got Craig, Pappy, Long Pimpin' back in the building.
Big Pappy back in the house.
What's up, guys?
It's good to see you, my friend. You look great.
Thank you. I've been exfoliating.
You've been doing your Epsom salts?
No, just bath salts.
Okay. What's the difference?
Well, one, you don't lose your goddamn mind on.
No, so have you done bath salts?
Never in my life, and I don't plan on doing it ever.
I can't do stuff like that. It makes me feel funny.
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm just never in that phase. I don't even need to experiment anymore. I've already done enough experimenting in my life where I don't need to try any new things anymore. I know what I like and want in life. And that's just happiness.
That's a good place to be, man.
That's what we all want. And we find out what we want by finding out what we don't want. And some of that comes with experimenting. You know, all the dumb shit we did in our 20s, Craig?
Absolutely.
Now we go, I don't want to do that anymore. Right?
So for all you listeners out there who are unfamiliar with the DCPC family, Craig is definitely like in the inner circle, bro. Like we've known Craig since way back in the day. We've known you for over 12 years. Like I met you and Kevin basically about the same time.
Right around the same time.
We all met around the same time. I'm still good friends to this day. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
I know we've told the story a few times, but it's a classic. Just how it all came about.
You never know who you're going to become friends with. So if you ever rent an apartment community, talk to the people that are around there. Be part of something. If they're barbecuing or playing a game, has to join in. This is how these great friends came along. So
That could be the advice for humanity, Craig, because, I mean, it was life-changing when we all met at Quincy Ridge. Shout out QR, man. That's where it all started.
the Ridge.
The Ridge, man.
You were the biggest Dierks Bentley fan I've ever met and played the same song in rotation every time we hung out. That I used to just sip the beer every time I heard the song. By the end of the night, I was blacked out.
That sounds extremely accurate. I had less hair then. I was angrier, but I still played the same song.
It's been so long since I've seen you with a Vic or shaved head, I almost forgot how long you did that for.
A few years, for sure, like good 4 or 5 years.
You did it for a long time, and I used to always tell you, I was like, dude, you should
grow your hair out.
Grow your hair out.
And it was funny, too, because I remember you telling me when I was in my early 20s, you're like, when I was about 27 before I started caring about my hair, speaking about yourself, or, you started to take a little bit more pride in your appearance. Sure enough, I turned 27, went to a barber, never stopped.
I care about hair now, but it's more like about back hair and body hair, about laser hair removal. I don't want to get into hairiness because some people might be sensitive about it, including myself. But I think I'm gonna get some laser hair removal.
You really considering it?
Yeah, around my shoulders, back. The older you get, you were just talking about all the things you did in your 20s. You look back on your 30s and say, "Oh, I'm never gonna do that again." I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna look back on my 30s, but I'm never gonna do that again.
Yeah, I'm definitely like growing up. I used to look at my pops and be like, "Yeah, he's a silverback gorilla. It's growing in." And I didn't think it was going to happen to me, but now, sure enough, bro, I'm starting to get the upper back hair. It's coming in up there. It gets very long, and I have to, trim it, clean it up. But I heard that laser hair removal is pretty painful.
I wouldn't know. I've never done it before, so...
But you did LASIK.
I can't be any worse than LASIK and a sheer blown panic for about 22 minutes, so...
I think you should share that story with what you went through with LASIK. So if viewers want to know if they want LASIK, because once you described it to me, I will never get LASIK now because of this story Craig's about to share.
Well, I'm not trying to scare anyone off, so I love
just being real.
The fact that I got LASIK.
Yeah.
I really enjoy not cleaning glasses or pushing up like the centerpiece of the glasses constantly into your forehead where you leave an indention. Yeah. Right? But... LASIK, they had minor complications which kind of prolonged the procedure in each one of my eyes. My right eye, a shirt particle or some kind of white particle from inside the room while they were doing a procedure flew into the flap that they were cutting. And they had to take a minute or two to remove that piece of fabric from my eye lens and get it out. So it prolonged it. And I was kind of like, "Oh, is this normal?" And they're like, no, sir. And they were kind of explaining what was going on. Well, once that passed, they went to my left eye. Well, my left eye, when they pulled the flap up, closed in on itself. And he described it as basically like a piece of cellophane, like from like a cigarette package. Yeah. When it gets static and it closes in on itself, how it's hard to get it from detaching from itself again, and that's what my lens was doing. So we sat there and played with it for 5 minutes to get it to unfold on itself.
And your eyes are wide open this entire time?
They are not wide, and they're pressurized by the mechanism that's on your eyes, where you go complete blackout after feeling the pressure. But you feel what's going on.
You can't really see anything?
You can't see at all. You just feel and know and what's going on as they're describing it to you, but you feel the pressure. You feel the slight pain of it. And the longer that you can't see is the longer that you start kind of freaking out and start panicking.
Absolutely.
So going on like 22 minutes, I was like, it was a little too long to be not being able to see. I didn't like it.
Did it like affect your other senses, like your breathing, your smells, hearing?
It affected my breathing because I was going into panic. So I was like, like you were going down on an airplane and like in one of the paper bags and start breathing like that, almost hyperventilating. You know? And I held my composure. But the problem after that, they tell you that you're supposed to go home and rest immediately from the time you leave until 4 or 5 hours later after your procedure, right? Well, if you don't fall asleep, even if they give you a Tylenol PM or whatever kind of medication you decide on with your doctor right there, if you don't fall asleep, that's very hard to do, to keep your eyes closed for 4 to 5 hours. I mean, you close your eyes, if you blink, that's easy, right? Your brain's not really trying hard on that. But when you're trying to keep your eyes closed and not open them, there's more pressure. You start feeling the pain in your head. You start getting a headache.
Like, I need to open my eyes.
And that's also putting me into a panic at the same time. So
because then you almost got to like squint to keep them closed, I feel like.
You were squinting hard. Yeah. And you would feel the pressure in your face because you're like, I don't feel like I'm closing my eyes hard, but you are, because it's not normal for you to do that. To keep them that long.
You have to fight your body's natural reaction to want to open your eyes, almost like not blinking, right? Yep. That's a hard thing to not do.
Yeah.
Realistically, guys, I had some complications. It was 4 to 5 hours after the procedure, and next thing you know, the pain went away, the burning went away, my vision started getting from blurry to clear, and now I see better than I've ever seen.
Did you get nauseous at all? Because I feel like sometimes the eyes can fuck with the nausea.
I did not get nauseous. It's a little bit more sensitive to light, and if I don't apply enough eye drops, because I'm still fairly new to it, I'm only like 3 months removed, so they still get a little dry. If I don't apply enough eye drops throughout the day, I feel like they get a little dry, and I can get slight headaches from it. I have noticed that.
Still.
I wonder how long.
But we stare at screens all day for work. And
that's
just
true.
Human life, we're all attached to freaking screens now, right?
Yeah, the black mirrors.
Yeah, get them out of here. I don't want to look at myself in the black mirror. I don't want to look at other people in the black mirror. I'm so sick of the black mirrors. I honestly want to break normal mirrors.
You don't want another 7 years of bad luck, Arthur.
No, I know. I already did. I did that to myself, though. But no, I mean, it's a major challenge. Kind of switching the subject here. It's a major challenge to change your muscle memory and change your habits to create more time to spend with yourself. Because when we're all like looking at our cell phones constantly and always looking at the feeds, like we're not actually getting to know ourselves at all. We're almost distancing ourselves from ourselves.
Yeah, and I think, we talk about it a lot, just the addiction to picking up a phone for boredom or things like that. I always challenge the viewers and listeners, if you're going to go out to a meal or go to an event of some sort, picture it like a comedy show where they put your phone away. Like, you cannot use it. Mm-hmm. Treat everything like that. Keep the phone in the car if you're going to go have a meal. If you're going to go have a drink with your pals, keep your phone in the car. If you absolutely need it, you can run out and grab it. But bringing that in there, you now have already mentally prepared yourself that if there's an awkward moment, you're just going to look at it. And you're losing touch with what's going on, the sights, the smells, the interactions, A
complete safety net for you and your own reality. That's what I like to view it as. It's like basically you're falling onto that device or utilizing it to not deal with what you're dealing with in that exact moment, which could be just mind-numbing, or you're not even in a moment.
Right.
You're just literally taking it to the bathroom. My wife's gotten so good about it, and it's actually, we started talking about it as of late, just watching some of your episodes, right? And we're like, yeah, that is such a waste of time and stupid. So she checks me now. She's like, is that anything work-related? I'm like, no. I was like, it just kind of popped up. She's like, well, so why are you looking at it? What is that doing for your life right now? She checks me.
Good.
And now I'm becoming more conscious of it, even though I was already conscious before. But like he said, it's hard to break that muscle memory.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes you have no idea why you're even picking it up.
It takes months.
And I don't want to go down that tangent because I watch you guys' episodes enough. This is a topic that's talked about often.
Yeah, I just feel like it's something that's important and like, yeah, I mean, people, that we don't like you to be on your phones that much. I don't like being on, like,
except to watch DCPC.
Yeah. You guys know how we feel about this one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's beating a dead horse at this point, but it is something that all of us are guilty of. I've really tried in the morning especially. I mean, we talked about if you got work emails or something to respond to, that's one thing. But there's no reason when I get out of bed that I need to be scrolling Instagram while I'm taking a poo-poo. It's just not necessary.
I don't know what that is because I've never had Instagram. I think I had
Really? You never had IG?
I think I created an account one time because my buddy had something posted on there and he went on a vacation. I was just curious, and I still have the account, but I never utilize it or check it. Check Facebook just to keep tabs on some friends and post some recent stuff once in a blue moon, right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm pretty detached from the Instagram, Facebook world.
That's a good place
My
to be.
problem's Twitter. We talked about that before on a
Twitter.
previous episode because it's current, up-to-date news, and I like to be informed specifically about sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's where you got to draw the line. What is, if you're getting your news from it, which is I typically do as well, especially breaking news. Twitter seems to have it before Reddit and a lot of these other places.
It
but
does.
The problem with them breaking it so quick is misinformation.
Yes. Is it coming from a credible source, or is it coming from Arthur while he's scrolling the black screen on the toilet? And, he's posted something on Twitter. I know you don't ever post on Twitter, but that's what I'm saying. That's how reliable your source could be.
No, but if I'm posting it and I want to put it out there, the intuitive network that I'm tapped into is going to feed people prime real information.
Absolutely.
Okay? Like, look, there's no fact checking with intuition, all right? You're either listening to your intuition or you're not, all right? And people who second guess their intuition, just like all the times, like, I shouldn't be doing this.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
Straight from the source. Arthur Raw.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
social media can be a lot of fun. And like looking at for news and stuff like that, like for sports, I don't think that's a bad thing, especially if it's only like 10, 15 minutes out of your whole day.
10, 15, out of the whole day.
Out of the whole
say,
day.
In that moment, that's a long time.
Yeah.
For the
You know
whole day,
what's
not
most
bad.
mindless for me, which I catch myself doing more than anything else, is scrolling YouTube. That is probably my biggest
Really,
addiction.
YouTube? Yeah, it's funny.
Scrolling YouTube. I'm like, next thing you know, I'm watching WWF, which is WWE now, wrestling videos from the 1980s, and I'm not even into it, but as a child I was. And like, I have no interest in it now, but the nostalgia of it because of my childhood has me watching it for 30 seconds, and I scroll to the next thing, and it's like, man is, whatever that's called, like the jet suits or whatever. Like, I start watching some random stuff that I have no real interest in, but it pops up and I start watching it for a couple seconds. Like, oh, that was intriguing. On to the next. It's just YouTube nonstop for me.
So I mean, it's a balance. It's a balance. Like, it's okay to zone out and forget about reality a little bit and like have fun scrolling or whatever. But it's just when you do that for hours on end. Like, I've been there where I am scrolling and it's literally been like an hour and a half. It's coming up on 2 hours. Like, I can't sleep. I'm gonna look at my phone some more. I wonder why I can't sleep. That's when it becomes a problem.
The blue light.
Exercising is something I did well with for a while, and then I'm kind of gotten back on it over the last
What
week.
kind of exercises do you do, Craig?
Cardio is my favorite. I've been walking the 24 flights of stairs in my apartment building, and that's a hell of a workout.
24 flights?
24 flights.
Damn.
And I actually...
You're on the 24th floor?
No. I just walked the stairwell for 24 flights to get
Oh, I got
cardio
you.
in.
Okay, just to get him in.
That was the purpose of walking the stairwell, right? And then the other day I called Arthur when I make it to the 24th floor because you can exit on like basically a main patio that's just for that floor, no one's actual apartment. And you can see, all east of Denver. And all these, at night, all the lights are lit up. And
I
was
gotta
like,
get up
I'm going to have to
there,
come
man.
I
down
was
there.
feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
It was kind of my reward system for walking those 24 flights. So I call him, I was like, I'm feeling great. He's like, I'm loving your energy right now.
No, I'm serious. Like, Craig had the best energy right there, bro. It was this pure like energy of like accomplishment and happiness.
It's a good feeling.
And like just like the look on your face, like when you were calling me, bro. And that's what that kind of stuff brings to you, though. Like when you treat yourself good and you stay active and you are working toward a better you every day, like you can get to that euphoric state sober, and that's so awesome to feel.
It's
tough.
a good feeling.
It's tough. We talked about on previous, casts that we all have our demons currently and then from the past about substance, partaking in or abuse, however you want to, you call it. But I've been enjoying the health side of my life lately and putting more focus on that. We discussed it recently because we spend a lot of time together because we work together. I believe a lot of people are having that realization right now, because I feel like over the last 2.5 years, with the lockdowns, the pandemics, all the rules, the mandates, getting the vaccine, don't get the vaccine, the tug of war match within the world, right? A lot of people are coming out of this dark cloud area and starting to see the light and enjoying their life again, and worrying about their experiences of life and creating memories. And I'm just kind of living in the moment now, like that current state that I'm in right now, trying to enjoy the best of it. Sometimes I do find myself picking up my phone, but spending time with my daughter, spending time with my wife, or going on that walk, or hitting that weight room, just enjoying the most out of any moment I'm in, I've been very grateful for lately.
That's a good place to be, man. I feel like as I've gotten older too, I'm starting to appreciate, the now and what's upcoming in the next few days. I don't look ahead too far anymore because that gives me too much anxiety. When you have a busy schedule, you really just got to focus on what's going on now and taking risks, being a yes man a little bit. Hey, let's go do this. Let's try that. I haven't done that before. Doing things spontaneously, I think, is fun. Doing things you've never done. Maybe it's like, oh, should I spend this money? Should I not? Like we were talking earlier, send it, own it. Do something nice for yourself.
You'll make some more money again to replace the money you just spent. And that money you just spent was at least on a memory that you probably take with you to your grave.
Yes.
It was a great time.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, life is for living and being present and enjoying your time and like really experiencing the moment. Like I totally agree with that statement. Is just, even right now, like I have two of my very best friends in the room with me, bro, and we're just having a great time, great conversations. Craig and I have been working in this room all day, having great energy, laughing, and that's what it's about, is appreciating the good times when you're in them. Because sometimes, we just are so quick to move forward, and we don't really recognize like how good we got it at this moment.
It's true. It's easy to take it for granted too, especially if you are, living a pretty active lifestyle like we do. No kids kind of thing, so there's different availabilities to do certain things, a lot more freedom in the schedule.
Well, we can't speak for Pappy over here.
No, Pappy's he's a papa now. Pappy's a
Papa.
papa.
My daughter's a traveler. She's got about to have a second stamp on her passport already. She's already traveled to Las Vegas, Scottsdale, Arizona, and she is yet to hit the year 1 year of age. So I think she's going to be well versed in the world. Foods. I think she's going to have a good palate because we give her all kinds of different stuff and take her to nice restaurants, and we don't hold restraint on our lives because we have a daughter. Obviously, we do have a babysitter every once in a while that we want to go let our hair down and go have a social night with our friends without interruptions of of a toddler or infant, whatever you want to call her. But I think a lot of people get stuck in that, right? Kind of like what Kevin just said, like, you guys are single, you can go live your life up and have no restraints whenever you want to. Well, I feel like me and my wife kind of attack our lives the same way, even with our daughter. And we always said we were going to be like that.
That's good.
Prior to having kids, that we would like to continue to live the similar lifestyle as if it was just me and her married before kids and when we have kids. Like, not let too many things change. We understand things will change, and that's inevitable. Children are going to bring that change in your life, but don't fall too far off where you were at previously.
Sure,
and we've been loving life.
Yeah,
and that's fantastic, man. I mean, and again, you both shared the same vision. We're going to have a kid, but we're also still going to live life, and we're going to travel and do things we want to do. And you also had the financial freedom to do that because you put yourself in a position to do that. My girlfriend and I decided we don't want kids because we do want to travel and still have those freedoms. So, it's there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? It's all about how you want to approach life. And I think that's cool, man. As long as everyone's on the same page and in agreement, you can make anything happen.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about being a yes man. I feel like my wife's on the same brainwave with me. We're surfing the same way. She's become more of a yes woman. She's like, let's do it. Let's do it. I love it. Let's do it. That's exactly how she sounds. Let's do it. No, I'm joking.
but let's go, man, because it's like, what's the point? Like, if you're doing the same thing that you did Monday night, that you're doing on Tuesday night, and that you also did the same thing last Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you got to keep life interesting, man. It can't just be the same routine all the time. It's good to have a good routine. It is. It's good to have a healthy routine, but your routine should also include new things. Because when you're not experiencing life and like trying new stuff and challenging yourself, then you're living a complacent existence. And
so true.
Like what do you accomplish from being complacent?
I've never been a complacent person. That's why I always strive to, move up in companies, right? Now I've kind of flipped the switch, right? I still want to move up in a company and do well in life, you know, financially and career-wise. But now it's more like about tapping into, like, getting to the next tier of life experiences. Like, where are we going to travel to now? What kind of new foods are we going to, you know, try? What kind of new adventures are we willing to go on? You know, bucket list stuff. That's kind of where my mind's been lately. Like, I want to start doing that stuff now. Why do I need to wait until I'm retired, live off my 401k and all my investments, and I'm 67 years old, 70 years old, when my energy's better right now?
Do it now.
And my wife's on that same brainwave with me right now. So I believe the year of 2022, I want to be those kind of people like, this is the year, because I believe all the years after this, because with that new mentality, are going to be fantastic. But I believe this is the spark year that sets me into a different path of life of enjoyment. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's definitely a year of opportunity. You know, I think a lot of people are getting comfortable to take the mask off, to take risks, to go do traveling again. The restrictions are being lifted. So, you know, people are ready to go experience things again for the people that want to do it. I also think that there's the flip side, that the pandemic encouraged and, you know, really made comfortable to stay home, to work at home, to not go outdoors, not go experience things, because there's still that fear there. Even if that fear is removed, the comfortability of being in the house all the time has affected a lot of people. And it's really made them like, I don't really want to do anything because I haven't done anything in 2 years.
Yeah.
What you need to do is still get out your comfort zone with, you know, say for instance, I've been bringing my laptop. As long as I have a good internet connection, I can connect to my work VPN and in a remote location. I don't need to be at my house. I've been going to live life and have experiences while still working, while still making money. And I think a lot of people are doing that right now. And all you got to do is bring a little piece of home with you. Bring the things that make you comfortable at home along with your work, and just go somewhere more remote. Change up the scenery for 3 days to a week. It will do worlds of wonder in your life just to switch it up. Yeah, I get what you're saying. People are comfortable, but you don't have to get too far off your day-to-day and still have a slight change for yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. And I think that should be echoing for a lot of people that are used to working at home, and that's just all they know now, right? Car's been in the garage for fucking 2 years. They don't go anywhere. You know, DoorDash, this, e-commerce, that. Get out and switch it up. Take your laptop. Go work remote. I think that's good.
Yeah, man. I'll start getting all stir-crazy cabin fever and stuff if I'm in the house for, like, more than 3 days in a row. Like, it's too much. Like, I need to get out and experience something, go breathe in the air of the day, smell the day. How's the day smell? You know, just like little things. And that's what life is about, is all the little moments that create your experience for that day. Because if you're just in the same thing, you're doing the same thing every time, you're afraid of something that's inevitable, and that's fine if that's where you're at. But like, I'm just done being scared of this whole pandemic and stuff, and like the fear mongering and staying at home and selling my life short and afraid in this fear to, you know, get sick. And you know, that's everybody's own decision to make. Like when it comes to that, and I respect both sides of it. But I highly encourage everybody to live outside of fear, you know? Like, you can be safe and stuff, but you can still live outside of fear. I respect
it, and I will follow the rules. Got the vaccine, got the boosters, wore my mask everywhere, washed my hands. I did all the right things, still contracted COVID, was sick for about 8 days, and had lingering after.
You got it the worst of anyone I knew.
Yeah, and had some, like, lung capacity issues and breathing issues for a month to come after that. I'm out of the, you know, the red now, but the bottom line is that, I mean, what happens if this went on for 5 years?
Or longer.
Or longer, and just like, next thing you know, like, we've been doing this for 5 years. I'm like, that's when you got to kind of put your hands up. Like, I respect it, and I definitely respect science too. I'm not going to get in everyone's beliefs, but it comes to a time where it's like, enough's enough. It's just too long. I'm not okay with doing this for the rest of my life. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to stop it right here and just, I did my part, did the things I was willing to do, and now I'm going to live life again.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people share that same viewpoint at this point, Craig. You know, I mean, who's kidding who? When this thing started, I was as scared as anybody. I was literally sanitizing my groceries. Every piece that came in the house, I was wiping down. I was never going to get the vaccine, and I still haven't got it to this day, and I never will get it. But that was my body, my choice, right? But I still, like you said, I took my precautions. I wore my mask. I was sanitizing. Art knows that. I was the sanitized king. I was always conscious of germs. I've always been a germaphobe my whole life. But to your point, when is enough enough? I mean, businesses going out of business, shutting all this stuff down, keeping everyone isolated. I just don't think it was the right way. At the end of the day, we still had mass amounts of deaths. We had a lot of issues with it. The science, obviously, I respect that. But I don't feel like what we did really stopped anything that was already going to happen. You know what I mean? I just don't. I really don't.
I mean, we all know everyone's going to get, like, if you want to continue to do it, there's going to be some kind of shot or booster given to you annually, very similar to the flu shot, because COVID's not going anywhere, and we're going to treat it the same way as the flu.
And I've never had a flu shot either.
Yeah. I mean, that whole subject obviously is polar. There's polar opinions, and here's the thing though: is like there doesn't have to be polar opposite opinions on this subject. Like everybody can be respected. You could be respected if you want to be vaccinated. You could be respected if you want to wear your mask. You can be respected if you choose to not be vaccinated. That's the thing though is like we're dealing with all to not get too political, but kind of is there's all of these conflicts on the world stage, and it's just funny to me how like all the COVID news just suddenly disappeared all of a sudden on my threads and all this ever since Ukraine happened.
Yep.
And it's because they want to push this fear-mongering BS down our throats and keep the population controlled by keeping us distracted and against each other. Like I say, like, let's support everybody, especially America as in general. Like we need to come together.
Are they trying to push us for create us to go against each other right now?
Yes.
I mean, with the Ukraine thing, I feel like there's because of all this, all of a sudden I'm seeing more people united than ever.
And I agree with that, but so yes, you're correct there. But with like the differences in vaccinations and how they like talking about anti-vaxxers and putting people down like that and all this stuff, like that's distraction. It's like they're keeping us distracted from other things by keeping us angry at each other. So all of us need to come together and not be so angry at each other and show some love, because like we're all in this together. We're all on this rock together, and we can have different opinions and still all live happy lives and respect each other.
War's never the answer.
No. And it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere, and I tell you what, I love to see these posts, and I know a lot of them is just clickbait or whatever it may be, but people holding hands and putting up signs, and love for humanity has been shown because of this. And I haven't seen that in a while.
From the Ukraine conflict.
Ukraine and people supportive of Ukraine and surrounding countries, the people not supportive of the Russians invading, all kinds of stuff. I'm seeing, even though it's such a negative thing, there's a lot of positivity coming out of it. And it's the first, actually, this sounds crazy, this is a different spin on it. First time I've seen more positivity actually in the news out of something that's pretty bad. I'm seeing actually positivity for the first time in a while in the media.
Yeah, a little bit of unity. I mean, I would agree with that too. I mean,
it's a different look at it, but I'm seeing that come out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, that situation is pretty rough. I mean, it's not over. I know Putin's kind of ramping it up a bit. He's getting aggressive with civilian communities. I really don't know where America lies in that and what we should do. I'm not going to sit here and say if we should or shouldn't get involved. I know Biden attested to some of that last night in the State of the Union regarding, no air traffic. We're not going to let any Russian air traffic in America. We're putting sanctions on. I don't really know what else we can do, other than just hope for the best. I mean, this thing's kind of out of our control. We can support Ukraine and get behind all that, but I just don't think it's a good idea for us to get involved.
Well, I mean, because there's a major issue with any NATO country's involvement. Like it creates this. Okay, now it's Russia versus 7 countries or however many countries are in NATO. All of Russia's allies will probably come in, but how are Russia's allies looking at Russia right now? Is the thing. So there's too many things, and man, it's always been a volatile world that we live in, and there's always war. And, U.S. bombs are dropping in Somalia as of the last couple months, and no one's mentioning that. So it's just kind of funny what goes underneath the microscope and how they push it. And that's why, like, I don't know, man, the whole mainstream media it's like this whole, cat got your tongue thing, or like, we're going to play this certain we're gonna push this agenda and try to influence the population. Because what else does mainstream media do? It influences the population, right?
Heavily.
It informs, but also influences.
At one time it informed. I think now it's a competition for viewership. It almost turned into like professional wrestling a little bit, I feel like. It's like who can create the most drama amongst a round table discussion or an interview on a primetime Fox CNN interview. They're looking for that spark, that soundbite that goes viral. Oh, so-and-so said this, and now people are pissed, and everyone's getting divided. That's what MSM has turned into, in my opinion.
I want to give the change I find on the street for that kind of information. I just do not care. I feel like that kind of puts me to the point of like what we were kind of talking about, which a lot of this discussion has been centered around, is like, I'm going to do me, and I'm going to do it right now. Like, that's like a focus of mine. Like, I'm not going to worry about all this negative BS in the world and what everything's, all these opinions trying to get pushed on me. I'm going to go do me right now, my wife, my daughter, my family, my friends. Yeah. I'm going to go make memories. I don't care about any of that static right now. And that's the wave I'm riding.
And that's a good wave to ride, Craig. When I've said a few times on the show, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change, right? Because it's what you want to focus your energy and time on. We've all been guilty of it. I was sucked into MSM huge in 2010 to 2014-ish. That shit just fucking consumed my life. I wanted to know what was going on, and I developed opinions based on other people's opinions rather than just taking the facts and developing my own opinions. When I took a step back and disconnected from it, I realized I don't need a lot of this bullshit. I keep tabs on what's going on. I think it's important to be up to date on current events and know what's going on in the country, care about your neighbor, what's going on around the world. But you don't need to let it consume your life and tune into this bullshit every night and have this fear-mongering shoved down your throat. This is how we ended up where we're at. It's because everyone's so goddamn scared. You turn on the news, it's always so-and-so got shot. This is blowing up. This business is going out. It's just negative all the time. It's too much.
Well, it is. I mean, but it also can sway the way that you perceive life, right? I mean, we have talked about it before. Like, there's, I wouldn't necessarily call them conspiracy theories, but there's theories out there, right? That, we're going to go into, other civil war or other world wars, or you better start getting, artillery and guns and ammo up, right? Because if you have it and someone else doesn't have it, they're going to take what you have because all the supply chain issues going on. I mean, there's a lot of static out there. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Like, I get it. It's something to talk about. It's something getting pushed. It could be a legitimate fear, but for me, like, I'm not going to fear any of that. What I fear is not living right now and going to make memories. That's what I'm tunnel vision on that right now.
I can respect that. Yeah, that's a good place to be for sure.
It's doing great things for me.
It is. I can tell.
It's really helping me turn the corner. I feel like I'm coming out of I wouldn't say real dark place, but some darkness in my life that I haven't had in my life for a while. Just focusing on all the things that didn't matter. Yeah. And I just start looking at life through a different lens. Like, is that important? This is important. Kind of putting everything back on the balance beam. And once you realize all this crap that you can just throw away, it's not important, and your life's weighed down by all the things that do matter now, and you just start checking shit off your list, right? Next thing you know, the results are phenomenal. You just start feeling a lot better about yourself, and your whole views start changing again when you just clean the dirty lens, man. That's the way I would say.
Take the dirty laundry and chuck it in the fuck it bucket. I would agree with that. But, obviously, I'm a gun owner. I stock up on ammo. Not that I'm paranoid, but I think it's a good move, at this time before, just being prepared, I feel like. I'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. But, and that's the only thing I would contradict here, because I also, I love just going with the flow. I don't need any of this bullshit, no fear. But I am stocked up on guns and ammo, Craig.
And, so are a lot of my relatives, and to each his own. That just won't be me. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to slow down my life. I'm not going to let someone else put their thumb on me and press me in my life. I'm going to do the pressing. And when I say pressing, it's impressing myself.
I like that. That was good. No, but I mean, honestly, Craig, you've helped be an inspiration to me. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the pod about your your relations, but you're kind of like a bigger brother to me. And just watching the phases of your life and how you've matured. You're like 2 or 3 years older than me, and the whole time, and I hate to stroke Craig's ego because it's already big enough.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge,
fucking huge. And no, seriously, like you've called out things that you saw and that ended up being true, and I was like, shit, you were saying that, but it's good to recognize where you came from, and then what you're doing now, and how your life has changed based upon your decisions and how your priorities have changed. Because the thing is like as we all get older, as we all grow as individuals, like our priorities will change. And if they don't, then you're not growing, you know? And so what would you say were some of the biggest things that contributed to your personal growth?
My wife. That's the easiest answer for me. My wife was the one that helped me clean that lens that I was just referring to. Taking, the vision of myself and making it more clear. Where I am currently to where I can be and what the potential I can reach. She's helped me discover a lot of things in myself just because she's there to help on a daily basis. She does everything for me. And I believe a man, it sounds so cliche, when they have a good foundation in their life, their rock, or someone that, they don't, doesn't lean on you. You do the leaning, right? It makes a world of difference. And she just makes sure that not only myself and my daughter are taken care of on a daily basis, but all the go-to tedious stuff that, individuals may not want to deal with on a daily basis. She does the dirty work. So at the end of the day, I give her a ton of kudos, and I just know that she's the one that helped me actually make honest change in my life and helped me discover my best version. Now, is she the one that's responsible for me holding on to it? No, that's all on me.
Of course.
She can't fix me. She can show me what I could be. Yeah. It's up to me to get there.
Oh yeah.
And so I would say the other, thing that helped contribute to that change was myself. It started believing in myself. Started not think so negative about so many things, and I would say Arthur contributed too. Arthur's probably one of the most positive people I ever been around.
Oh,
right?
Hands down.
And I feed off his energy.
We all do.
And sometimes I'm like, I want to view my day or view my surroundings or view what's ever in my vision right now in such a positive manner that Arthur does it, that it's contagious. So I would have to say Arthur, my wife, and more importantly, the hugest changing thing for somebody to really grow up and realize what's the most important is having a kid. And over the last, 9 to 10 months, it's really putting a lot of things in perspective, and now it's just like there's no looking back. There's no going back to
old
stuff.
Is there like anything that you can pull from your new perspective to shed light on people who haven't had kids? Like, is there any do you feel like any of the information is transferable, or
yes,
you just
100%.
have to go through that?
Being on your phone all the time, being so sucked into work, where you miss out on the most important things. You come home from a long day, you're exhausted. The last thing you want to do is dive into more work, right? Well, I tell you what, being a dad, being a husband, that's work. You got to put work in. I tell you what, it's necessary work, and it's needed, because that kid, when you start realizing how important they really are and what's important, the time that you spend with them, and how important it is, and when it all comes into play and you start viewing it as this is the important stuff. Paycheck, I could care less about. Moving that next low because I'm in freight, I could care less about. Being in this moment right now with my daughter and my wife, if she's present at the time, is just more important.
So being present.
And that's why you've heard me, refer to living in the now right now. The current time is the most important time. And how you spend that is the most important thing, right? So for the longest time, specifically probably the first 6-7 months of my daughter's life, I was so involved in work and just burning out that I was missing some of the best times. And I just started cleaning my lens again, because your lens can get re-dirty.
Yeah, right? That's the thing, is it's constant cleaning.
Yes.
Like you don't just, there's never a fix, you're never done. Like there's always another mountain to climb, there's always another problem to solve. Like you're never done. You never finish.
My wife says stuff like, it's not like a nudge, but it's like she needs you. And that's just deeper than change her diaper or pick her up. They need you to bond with, because that is going to be their foundation for many years to come. And then they'll go out into their own world and make their own foundations. But right now, that child's going to depend on me and their mom, right? I got to be present.
Yeah. And
well, you're a good dad, Craig.
Thanks.
It definitely sounds like it. And to echo on a point you made was you have a good teammate. right? You know,
She's
because the question started with, you know, Art asking you, when did you really, you know, dial in and make these changes? And you said it was when you met your wife. And I remember even before you were married, you said that this was a life-changing moment for you. It got your finances dialed in. You know, you started to really reevaluate life a little bit. And it's good to have that teammate, man. You know, you guys play for the same team.
And that's getting real. That's getting, you know, real when you say that. So, yeah, that was the lens she helped me clean, was like cleaning up your debt, making the right choices. Don't extend yourself too far. You know, who are you surrounding yourself with? How is your time spent? It was really eye-opening when I met my wife. Her name's Jamaica, which is great because she's such a an equal partner. Sometimes outshines me. It's not always equal. Sometimes she carries more weight. But I noticed that, and I think admitting that is a good step just for me, that she's important to my success, right?
Well, and one thing I would say that does help contribute to your success through all of that is the fact that you are open to receive it. Because I feel like sometimes when people are in a position and, you know, people that love them are talking to them and be like, hey, you know, you're amazing, you have so many great qualities, but you're selling yourself short here. Like, it's easy to get offended. It's easy to become defensive and like not want to hear that advice. Like, you know, like, how are you gonna judge? How are you gonna tell me how I can be better? So like, it's break that. Always stay coachable. And if somebody cares enough to tell you something serious like that is meaningful, it's worth listening to. It's worth looking into yourself to see, like, what are they actually talking about.
What I was going to say is, you know, she says things, but I say she does more listening than what she says. I think her listening helped me get out of a lot of gray areas or confusion areas. She would just sit there, and she's such a champ for this. I have real debates with myself in front of my wife, and she sees this happening, and I'm talking out loud, and she's like, yes, Craig, we have talked about this before, to the point of exhaustion, right? But she sits there like a champ, and she lets me work out the things within myself. And so I'm not sure if any of you guys do this, but I work out my things within myself, and I work them out loud.
Me too.
And people know what I'm thinking.
Yep.
I'm in a battle with myself to either get out of something I don't want to be in or get to something I do want to be in. It's a constant battle for myself. And she's a champ. She just sits there and listens. She's probably just looking at me, rolling her eyes, but she's like, I love this man. I love this man. He's good to me. He's a good dad. And she deals with it. I think a lot of women can probably attest that that's what they do for their man. Yeah. Men can rant.
Well,
we rant on this show.
I mean,
oh, yeah, we're ranters.
So can the ladies, but, you know, since we're on this topic, though, I actually want to give Kevin a compliment, man. Because, dude, you've always been a great listener. Like,
thanks, buddy.
And that's a great quality to have. And like, what you do for somebody when you attentively listen to them, it changes somebody's day just to be heard, man.
I would agree.
Because society is constantly trying to snuff out a voice and like, oh, how's your day doing? Oh, I'm doing great. Are you? Are you really, like, you know, or are you just faking it right now? And, like, you know, so I appreciate both the people in this room. You know, all the listeners tuning in. I appreciate y'all listening too, because this is like a weekly therapy session for me. You know, I get to come in here, vent, and talk about my drug issues and how I overcame that and how I'm becoming better. And we get to talk about how Craig became a man finally.
Yeah, this might actually give me a hug and a kiss when I get home when my wife sees this episode. It's like, you talk so nice about me. I love you, sweetheart.
Yeah, man.
But it's still real.
The power of listening.
Power of listening, for sure.
But it's real because it's what I've been focused on lately. It's what I was putting on the back burner when it was so important. I put it on the front. You get what I'm saying? Now my wife, my daughter, and every memory that I make with them and our friends and the experiences we have together, that's the centerpiece. And it should have always been that way, but I was making my work number one, and it just shouldn't be that way.
I think a lot of people go through that, Craig. I mean, you know, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you talk about living in the now and prioritizing what means the most to you, and that's now. Going to, you know, experience travel, different things, taking your daughter, your wife out to do fun things, you know. But it took experiencing working to the bone and not paying attention to that to realize that that's more important to you than working your fingers to the bone, right? There's the work-life balance. And we all experience that for sure, because there's a value to both, of course. We want to work hard, you know, we want to move up in our companies and our respected careers or whatever, but there's also a level of importance to taking care of ourselves and our families and spending time with our friends and family. family and friends make us the richest man. I will say that to the day I die. I carry Beyond Blood on my arm for a reason, because if you don't have friends and family, what do you have? Money means nothing in that sense.
So what do we say to the folks out there, the people that are out there that, you know, maybe they moved away from their family, never had a good relationship with their parents or something, or their spouse, not their spouses, but their siblings, and it's hard to get to know new people.
It is.
And we're all very fortunate to have such a close circle of friends that we can trust, rely, and depend on. But like for anybody out there that, you know, how do you open up yourself and create trust with new people and do all that? Like, you know, that's kind of a question I'd like to propose.
I think the first step would be the attempt. Putting yourself in a situation where conversation might happen or occur. I think a lot of people, as Kevin was referencing to earlier in the conversation, are not leaving their house. They're not doing anything social. And if you're a homebody, I get it. If you're a homebody and you're away from your friends, your family, and you moved away, well, maybe that's your first step. Start reaching out to the people that were in your life before. Get them back in. Get accustomed to being social again and reaching out and put in the work, which is picking up the phone or a virtual call. Real human connection, not text message, people.
Yeah.
Right? And get familiar with the transaction of human interaction again. And those can just be from people that you already know, right? Once you get used to that, it's like training. It's like taking training. Go into the real world and apply your new skills.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to open a lot of doors for you. And I think a lot of people are living behind doors right now because they've gotten lazy or accustomed to not doing
living
anything.
Behind doors and living behind phones.
Yeah.
I mean, and how often do we just run into somebody in the elevator that is looking at their shoes because they don't want to interact with the people that they're on the elevator with?
Yeah.
Like, and it's so easy to just say, hey, like, it's such a beautiful day. Like that's something I challenge myself on, is like interacting with people in a genuine way. That's the thing. That's the key word for me, is genuine. Like when I run into a stranger and I'm like, hey, how's your day going? Or, you know, it's a beautiful day. Isn't it? Like, I am being genuine. Like, I'm not just faking this. So it's like, maybe just put yourself out there in a genuine way, where I guess the first piece is you have to have self-awareness, a self-confidence. Like, you're okay with dealing with rejection. You're okay with somebody not saying hi back. Because, you know, I feel like that's where it becomes intimidating, is you are afraid of the rejection in life. And maybe that's why you're not putting yourself out there, is because you're afraid of the rejection, like you're not going to get reciprocated. But rejection is a part of life. Failure is a part of success. And so it's like you really, truly have to, like, be willing to fail constantly or like, not get reciprocated what you expected, like, and be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think everybody's built a little bit differently, too. When you break it down, you know, like we talked about, people that have been indoors. Some people are more social than others. Some people are texters, like you said. Maybe video call your buddy. You know, get used to doing Zoom calls. Like, we've all gotten used to doing that. If you can carry that energy into public, that's great. But it also starts with, do you even want to do that? You don't want to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But if you feel within yourself, I need to be social, I want to get out, I want to meet new people. If you're feeling that, then go do it, right? And start small. It doesn't mean you go get fucked up at your local pub, right? You can go to a coffee shop. You can, go to a concert, or a NASCAR race is where I met some of my best friends. Whatever you're into, a baseball game. There's so much to do to surround I think step one is surround yourself with people that might share similar interests, right? That's a common way to get to know somebody and to build a buddy to go do something with. Attend an event, do something that maybe, gets you a little bit uncomfortable, but you might meet someone that's just as big of a fan as New Orleans Saints, or whatever the case may be.
I don't know if that exists.
You just never know until you try. Yeah. You got to give it a go, man. And if you fuck up and you strike out 3 times in a row and you don't meet anybody, so what? Try again. Give yourself 10 opportunities. That's what I think. Give yourself 1 out of 10. I like the 10% conversion rate. 10 opportunities, you're going to get at least 1. At least 1.
I imagine men apply that in many different ways, right?
Yes.
That's a different avenue, Craig, but yes, also applies.
Here's a great icebreaker for people that want to get out and putting an Arthur positive spin on it. Man, I'm so glad to be here today. How about you? Easy, open-ended question, unless they say no.
Well, no, because that might be what you want to hear. I love hearing a no. I mean, being in sales for so long, like, it's like when things come too easy, it's suspicious to me.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this so easy? Like, how come I don't have to overcome anything right now? That's suspicious to me.
Silver tongue, man.
Yes, I do. Actually, I would like to say that I've graduated from silver tongue to golden tongue.
Yeah.
And one day I'll be the platinum tongue. What's better than platinum?
Diamond.
Diamond tongue, baby.
That's heavy.
Oh,
Diamond
that is
tongue?
heavy.
You're going to cut everything you lick.
Well, watch out, ladies. Oh, I didn't mean to go
Whoa.
there. Hold on now.
Well, hold on now. The wheels are wobbling. We're not off the rails yet, but they're wobbling.
No, but it's true, man. And that's the thing is life is nothing. Like if you're just coasting life and you're not challenging yourself and you're not experiencing and you're not fumbling a little bit, you're not falling, then you're not challenging yourself. Like, you have to fail. You have to have a challenge. Like, you need to overcome and like, even yourself. Like, for me, it's overcoming myself and my complacency and the things that wrong priorities. That's one of my biggest character traits that I hold right now, is the battle that I won with myself. But I had to fight it every day, man. You know?
The Battle of Raw.
The Battle of Raw, man.
2020? Because a war has a year typically.
Oh, I mean, we'll go ahead and say that battle
Lasted.
you know, because it was like 5 years of trying, so that would be 2017, bro. Like, the War of Raw the battlefield was lit up in 2017, dog, and I fight till this day. I'm gonna fight till I die. You know,
It's never over.
Yeah.
You know, even recovered addicts and people that have dealt with a lot of different things, overcome adversity. They still have to fight every day, mentally, to wake up, and make a conscious decision that I'm not going to go back to that.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
even when you're retired, there's going to be some kind of battle. Like, what kind of coffee should I have today? Dark roast, light roast?
Do I want to read the New York Post or the Washington Post?
Do I want to go on the sailboat or do I want to hit the fishing pier? Do I have enough money to get a bucket of Budweiser or just a tall boy? I don't know. What's my retirement pension looking like?
Yeah, the fact remains is that there's decisions to be made, Craig,
That's right.
every day when we get out of bed, regardless of what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the underlying tone of this episode is really to, find a place where you can find inner strength, but to never be comfortable there. Like you have to continue to challenge yourself. Like, life is to be lived, and the more time you spend taking it easy, the less time you're living. Because, like, dude, when challenges happen and you're faced with adversity and you can't make it but you tried, like, that's living. Like, doing something in a way that's like, I challenged myself, maybe I failed, but I'm gonna come back. Missed one, but I'm gonna come back.
I remember that song lyric for you in one of your songs.
Yeah, miss one, but I'm gonna come back, baby. Because that's the thing is, like if you're not even trying to do an attempt in the first place, then you're never gonna miss an opportunity, but you're also never gonna get an opportunity.
Don't miss out on something because it's hard, like obstacles. There's speed bumps, right? I mean, use for example. We're going to go to Jamaica. Well, right now you're having a hard time finding your passport and or your documentation to renew your passport. I was on his ass, and I was like, you're going to get that done. I was like, because it's going to be worth it.
Craig's been on my ass,
and the memories we're going to have, not only with each other, but as our group of friends are together, are going to be incredible. And we're going to talk about that 20 years down the line, right? I truly believe that. I think it's going to be a great time. But it's like, well, you got some obstacles ahead of you. Get it done. You better go on this trip, Arthur. Don't let this stop you from going.
Yeah, it makes me think of Jocko Willing's Good. I know we've referenced that a few times, but it's like
good. It's time to remind people.
It's like, hey, I can't find my passport. Good. Am I going to be able to afford this financially? I don't know. Good. Good problems to have, right? Because if it were easy, everybody would do it. That's a good point to drive home. If it were easy, everyone would do it. You need a challenge. You're going to have to fucking ruffle some feathers. You're going to have to dig through the documents, maybe get some shit reprinted, but it's going to be worth it in the end.
Totally worth it. And he's going to look back when we're flying home. He was like, this was totally worth it. I'm waiting for him to say those words to me.
I think I 100%, because we were talking financially with DCPC and all that, and is it, feasible and all that. After, Craig's Do It Now, fucking Own It tour 2022, you need to go to Jamaica.
I'm going, dog.
Yeah, you should go.
Listen, when an opportunity presents itself, and opportunities don't always happen in life. So when one presents itself and you start second guessing, do I really want to do this? You need to just do that.
Send it.
Because it's the mind. It's the fucking 5-second rule, bro.
Yep, it is.
It's your mind trying to talk you out of something that is going to break your normal daily routine, which then makes you less comfortable. But in all the motivational stuff I listen to, all the successful people talking and all the speeches, bro, you get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you put yourself out there, and that's why when you invited me and all this stuff, then I'm realizing I have some work to do to make it. Like, that work is worth it.
100%. 100%. Sometimes the things that are most worth it, you got to work the hardest for, and that has been proven true over and over again for me in life.
I mean, I won't get too much into the details, and my heart's been with you through the whole journey. But Lux is in your life now, your baby girl, bro. And I know what you and your wife went through. And I'm going to get a little emotional, dog. I know you guys went through a lot to get to that point. And it wasn't easy. And that's the thing, though, is like, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep driving. And regardless of the circumstances, dog, you got to keep moving forward.
Biggest reward in life, I'm sure a lot of people, that want to build a family, that have complications trying to do that, right? And we just never quit. And it came to happen for us, and it's because of our persistence with it, and it was the best thing we could ever do. And she's a wonderful blessing in our life.
Oh, she's beautiful.
It's terrific. Yeah, it's terrific. Believe and achieve for sure, Craig. I mean, you guys knew what you wanted. You weren't going to give up. Took some some blows and said, hey, we're not done. This is what we want. And I think that's, I don't want to say it's a cliche statement, but never give up. Chase your dreams. You want something bad enough, and you keep doing something actively to chase that every goddamn day, something's going to happen.
Absolutely. I believe in that. Don't quit. I was walking with Arthur today because it was 71 degrees in Denver in the beginning of March.
Beautiful day.
Went on a quick lunch break walk. And I told him, I said, all your hard work that you do, man, it's going to pay off. Don't quit. Don't get cold feet because it's taking too long. I said, all the things that are worth it take time.
It's true.
And the work that you put in will pay off. Hard work pays off.
And true success comes after when you want to quit. When you want to quit and your brain's telling you to stop, and regardless of what it's about, work, overcoming drugs, running that extra half a mile, whatever it is, when you want to quit and you keep pushing and you tell yourself, I am not quitting yet, because your brain's like, quit. Let's quit. Let's make it easy. Just quit. And you keep pushing, that's where true success is beyond that last push. It's right beyond that. And whenever you're feeling like you truly want to throw in the towel, then that's fucking game time right there. That's game time.
And you know what? It might get discouraging, and my wife tells me she's good with the statements because she's a great listener. She's like, the grass is not always greener. You think there might be something better on the other side of that hill that you've been climbing up that's been kicking your butt, right? And you get there and you realize all the grass is dead over there. It hasn't been watered. The one side that you were on was the one you were watering the whole time.
It's true. Yeah, I like to use an analogy it's people think the grass is green on their side only to find out that it's fertilized by the same bullshit. Right? I mean, it's universally the same bullshit no matter where you go. There's always going to be a hill to climb, another obstacle in front of us, which is good. It's good. And it's how far you want to push yourself. I really feel like every day when we get out of bed, we make that decision. If we're complacent, that's what we're going to get. If you want to put in a minimal amount of effort, that's what you're going to get back. If you're complaining about you don't have enough money to go out and have fun with your friends, that's on you. You have the ability right now to make that change,
100%. We talked about it earlier today. Like, what happens if you hit an obstacle, like going on the trip, like with work or whatever? We were just using hypotheticals where you couldn't get the PTO. He's like, then I just go and get unpaid that week and just take the hit. That's the kind of view, the mindset, the brainwave that we've been riding lately. Like, it's important. I love to make the money, but I'm gonna say this is more important, and I'm okay with the consequences because the consequences are not going to be as bad as the consequences of me missing out on this. You don't miss out on things that you really want to do in life. Those are the things that actually matter, man, that cause new currents in your body.
Yes.
Starts the new electricity, the new flow of what you're trying to do.
So
true. Yeah. Couldn't agree more, man. Makes me ready to go. I'm ready to go to Hawaii. My girlfriend and I are going to commit to that. We're doing that this year.
That's exciting.
You guys are going to do Jamaica? That's a big move. I think it's, 5 seconds, like you said. Can we afford it? Yeah, we can. Should we do it? Yes, do it.
That's why people
Fucking
have credit cards.
Well,
if you're not
that
maxing
is.
out all the time, you have $2 or $3 grand available on your credit card. You pay it back at what you can. You might get hit with a little bit of interest, right? Because hopefully you can't just not doing bare minimums. I don't know how you do your finances. I'm not here to coach you on it. Put it on your credit card and deal with it later. But you're going on the damn trip.
That's a good option, Craig. I mean, it really is. Not to encourage people to get into debt, but living in the now, do it now, figure it out later. I mean, that's one of the first things I learned in sales. Do it now, ask for forgiveness later.
100%.
It's a risky move, but it's so true because once you've committed to it, you're going to figure out a way to get it done. So once you've signed your name and you've already paid for it on that credit card, you will find a way to pay it off. And if you don't, well, then your credit score is going to take a shit.
Well, who cares, dude? It's just a fucking number.
That's true. That's true. And that's a whole other game that we won't get into because that's another piece of control. But echoing Craig's point, yes, commit to it, do it, make it happen, find a way, and fucking send it.
Yeah.
Memories are not a number.
That's true.
They're not. Everything else is got some kind of value on it, right? You can't put the value on the kind of stuff that we're talking about. That's what should carry the most weight.
Mm-hmm.
Epic.
Man, epic episode. It's always good having DCPC family in, man. I love you, Craig. I know Kevin does too. And for all the listeners out there, all the people tuning in, again, we super appreciate you guys. Like it's phenomenal. But let's challenge ourselves this week with surrounding ourselves with the people that we want to be. And if you don't have people around you, then you're gonna surround yourself with a new attitude. You're gonna tell the old you no. You're going to work hard on being the person that you can be, that you have the capability to be, and that you've just been selling yourself short. You haven't been doing the 5-second rule and saying, fuck it, let's do it right now. So that's the challenge this week. Let's surround ourselves with people that are pushing, and if you don't have those people around, then you're going to surround yourself with a new thought process where you're changing your mentality and you're going to grow yourself. That's the challenge for this week.
Great challenge. Easily obtainable. Anyone's capable of owning it at any moment. Reach out to your loved ones, maybe somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Somebody's going to pick up the phone, and they're going to give you a little bit of inspiration, motivation that you might need. Maybe take a trip back home, wherever you're from. Go see some friends, some family. Surround yourself with people that inspire you. And like Art said, if you don't have that available to you, well, then go own it yourself. Because you can wake up tomorrow and just take life by the horns and fucking own it.
Yes. Craig, I know you got some epic stuff to close us with.
I would just say, people, stop saying no. Stop saying no to yourself and stop creating your own roadblocks. You got a long road ahead of you, and that road can be long when those roadblocks are there. And if you want a smooth ride, stop saying no, because those yeses are knocking down those roadblocks. And I trust that journey might have a couple potholes, you might have a couple blowouts, but I promise you at the end of the journey, you're going to be like, damn. Those spare tires were totally worth it.
Make for one hell of a story.
Hell
Good
yeah.
stuff, man.
On that, man, everybody keep pushing, challenge yourself, and most importantly,
You got to be good to yourselves.
you deserve it.
Good to see you, Craig. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, guys.